Yet another attempted terrorist attack in New York, this time by a 27-year-old man. He is remarkably not killed, even though he tried to blow himself up. He had a suicide vest on, it appears, but because he is a buffoon and an incompetent, thank God, not surprising that a would-be terrorist would be an idiot. He did not succeed in blowing himself up or others around him. His name is Akayed Ullah. He apparently is from Bangladesh originally, although it's not clear if he was born here in America or not. That is where his family descends from. So now we have a video of the event, believe it or not. It's obviously going to be a little bit grainy here. You're going to see a finger pointing at the guy who's about to blow up, and he does, except like I said, the bomb didn't really quite work, so you'll see a lot of smoke, but even the perpetrator doesn't die afterwards. Let's watch.
No, he never took his hand out of the pocket.
So he did survive, and there was 3 other people who were injured. They also all survived. Thank God the 3 other people did not have serious injuries. So let me read you a tweet from the New York Police Department as they responded, and as you see the pictures, they showed up in full force. This was at 7:20 a.m. It was underground, under Port Authority, which is exactly in the middle of rush hour in New York City, and could have done a lot of damage if this bomb had actually exploded. Obviously, they had to take all the people who were commuting and direct them to other places so that they could find a way to get into New York City. And Port Authority was cleared out, a scene that New York hasn't seen in quite some time. So the New York Police Department put out a tweet saying the NYPD is responding to reports of an explosion of unknown origin at 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. The AC and E line are being evacuated at this time. Info is preliminary, more when available. That was early on. They did obviously get the situation under control. Great job by the authorities here. And then now a description from the Associated Press of what happened. The improvised device was only partially detonated, officials said, characterizing the incident as an attempted terror attack. And then the AP went on to say, an anonymous law enforcement officials told the Associated Press that Ullah was inspired by the Islamic State group, but had apparently not had any direct contact with the group. The officials said he lives in Brooklyn and may be of Bangladeshi descent, as I told you a little earlier. So there's a lot of guys like this who don't actually coordinate with ISIS or even have any direct link to them at all. But for whatever reason, they feel like they have to act, and then they say, oh, I'm inspired by ISIS. So that seems to be the case here. What's weird is that I thought that all this was going to end when Donald Trump was elected. That's what he told me. It's been, well, almost 11 months since he's been in office. This is what, the 2nd terrorist attack, at least in New York alone, since Trump's been in office. I thought my head was gonna start spinning because how much winning we were gonna do and how he was gonna, remember he had the secret plan to attack ISIS? So if you grant that this guy is from ISIS, whatever that means, well, why didn't Donald Trump employ his secret plan yet? What is he waiting for? Is he gonna wait for his term to be over before he employs his secret plan? There's some chance there was no secret plan. That Donald Trump is a moron and never had any new ideas on how to fight terrorism. And in fact, fighting terrorism is, as Trump would say, very complicated. Nobody knew it was this complicated. We knew. It's easy to say, oh, the Muslims or this or that, and look at issues in a black and white way. And then what are you gonna do about it? So, and how do you combat it? So you can profile Muslims all day long. You could do your Muslim travel ban. You could do demagoguery around that. The question is, how are you going to actually stop the bombings? See, that one's a little harder because you actually have to use your head. And you have to actually, yes, use police work to try to find out who's gonna do it and to prevent them. But Donald Trump doesn't have that kind of competence. He doesn't have that kind of intelligence. He probably legitimately thought this because he is that stupid, that he would just get into office and go, it's a radical Islamic terror, and so that's it, I'm sure it's solved. Well, it turns out, knucklehead, it's not solved. That's not how it works. You actually have to do the hard work of figuring out who is going to do it. And yes, there has unfortunately been a lot of terrorist attacks, mass shootings, carnages, massacres since Trump has been elected, rule of law, that's what he said he was gonna bring. It's now a sad joke. Not only do we not have safety, he continues to break the law every other day. Look, I'm frustrated because my friends and family are in New York. How many terrorist attacks do they have to go through? And so I want them safe. Just saying, oh, that group of people are particularly bad and we need to attack them isn't helping the issue. So serial killers are unfortunately, statistically, generally white men, okay? Not all of them, but an overwhelming majority. How does that help me stop a serial killer? What should I do, profile all white men? That's such a stupid way of looking at it. No, you have to try to actually do the work to figure out who the people are going to be so you can stop them. Literally, our families and friends' lives are on the line here. You're supposed to be the president of the United States and do the hard work it takes to keep us safe. And he hasn't done any of that. And of course, his promises were complete and utter nonsense. So we're all united in our disgust of the terrorists and their actions. That is universal. No one doubts that. The right wing, the left wing, the middle wing, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to see terrorists blow up our family and friends. The question is, how are we going to fight them? Unfortunately, Donald Trump lied about having a secret strategy, obviously doesn't have one, and hasn't stopped terrorism at all. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.